YouTube. I'm having big time issues. Big time issues, YouTube. I wonder if this is even registered. Let me just double check. It's been a day. It has been testing. Testing. Is all right. So long story short, I was trying to set up a multicast stream and stream on like different platforms all at the same time, and it just started bleeding like my scenes from Streamlabs, and so I got to spend some time on it this weekend. We've got UFC Fight Night, Curtis versus Allen on the itinerary. Let's go through. Actually, I'm gonna just share my screen. I'll share my there we go. Whoa, trippy. All right, we've got UFC Fight Night, Allen versus Curtis 2. Melissa Mullins taking on Nora Cornell. Uh, the line on this isn't right. I think it's like the exact reverse of that. But Melissa Mullins, heavy favorite, should be able to wrestle Nora fairly easily. Um, yeah, I see why she's going to be a heavy favorite in this fight. Um, yeah, just needs to go in there and wrestle. I don't know if she's going to get a submission win. Probably not. We could check out Nora's one loss. This is their first fight. Their first fight. I think basically Melissa Mullins is going to get into top position. Odds makers like the decision. I think she should be able to wrestle with Nora for all 15 minutes. I guess I like the decision also. Dylan Budka taking on Caesar Almeida. Dylan, very aggressive wrestler. Um, and then he's taking on Caesar Almeida, who's going to be a good striker and hold the striking advantage here. 3 out of 4 of Caesar's wins are knockouts. So he's going to be dangerous on the feet. And then Dylan, he's a Dana White Contender Series fighter, and he is just a persistent offensive grappler. And I think it's just kind of what you value in this fight. I would say in Dylan's Contender Series fight, there wasn't a whole lot of damage on his side. So, if he's just going to hold Caesar in place and Caesar's going to have big moments on the feet, kind of think Caesar could take a decision. And then he does carry really, really big power too. So you do have I think the finish advantage is on the Caesar Almeida side. So I'm gonna go with Almeida, the underdog. I think he could get it done via knockout. Um, but I'll probably just take the underdog odds at plus 120 there. Um, Dylan Budka, I don't think he's ever been knocked out. I think his losses are a submission and a decision. He is pretty durable, but he could get tired and get caught by a guy who's clearly got big KO power. So give me Caesar Almeida in this fight. Dan Argueta taking on Jin Matsumoto. Um, Gene Matsumoto, undefeated fighter, really good jiu-jitsu practitioner, also a very good striker. Dan Argueta, he's going to be a persistent offensive grappler. That's going to be his path to victory. and Gene Matsumoto doesn't have the best takedown defense, so it'll be interesting to see if Dan Argueta is able to get this fight to the mat, because if he is, he might end up being the minute winner in this one. I think it plays out really, really close. I don't think Gene Matsumoto's gonna submit Dan Argueta from his back, but I could see a scenario, um, like a club and sub type scenario for a Gene Matsumoto. Uh, but I do think this is a really, really close fight. Kind of going back and forth on it. I think if Gene Matsumoto just can avoid fighting off of his back, he should win this fight. I just don't trust him to go out there and defend takedowns for 15 minutes. Um, but I'm gonna take him as the favorite, and then I think he can, uh, hurt Dan Argueta on the feet, but he's pretty durable. I understand why Vegas is leading towards the plus 120 odds. Um, man, the more I think about it, the more I think this is kinda juiced in favor of Argueta, but I'm gonna stick with Gene Matsumoto here. Pedro Falcao taking on Victor Hugo. Uh, Victor Hugo, really, really good jiu-jitsu artist, offensive grappler, is really good on the mat. And then you got Pedro Falcao, who's probably going to be the better striker in this matchup. So, and he also does have some pretty good grappling in his own right. So I'm kind of leaning the Pedro side because he's got a little more tools, in my opinion, to win. We don't have a line here on DraftKings. Um, what is this? Oh, this is Pierre Rodriguez. What happened to that fight? Must have gotten canceled. Here it is. Oh, Falcao is the underdog. There we go. Yeah, I think I like the decision for Falcao. Um, I think that's the result I like. What did the odds makers think? They're not sure. It's basically a pick 'em if this one goes the distance or not. Check out the story on these dudes' records. Victor Hugo with 2 knockout losses in his career, long, long time ago. And Falcao, 1 knockout loss. Yeah, I don't know if Hugo's gonna be able to, wrestle for 15 minutes with Falcao, and he's got really, really good jiu-jitsu. Um, yeah, I'm kinda seeing now why the knockout is lined closely to the decision. I like the dog pick here, though, in Falcao. So we're gonna take Falcao. I post my, official bets on Twitter. We track units. We do it all legit. If you want, you can, follow me on Twitter. I'll write that in the chat real quick. Thank you, Crystal. Norma Dumont taking on Jermaine de Randamie. Jermaine hasn't fought since October of 2020. When she was fighting, the only fighter she was losing to was Amanda Nunes. Uh, submitted Juliana Pena. Uh, sorry, knocked out Aspen Ladd. Beat the current champ Raquel Pennington. Beat a prime Holly Holm. Good. I mean, she's really, really good. So if she's anything close to what she was, I think she's gonna beat Norma Dumont, no problem. I'm gonna take a stab on the underdog. As far as the method of victory, Norma Dumont is a good grappler. I think to be safe, I'm just gonna take a stab on the underdog. I think this week the approach is maybe gonna be to sprinkle a bunch of underdogs, just the way the early portion of this card is looking. Maybe parlaying Melissa Mullins, but I don't even know if I like that idea. But I'm gonna go with Jermaine Dave Randomy. I think she can beat Norma Dumont. But we'll have to see. What she hasn't fought in a long time, 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years exactly. Oh wait, yeah. The next fight we've got is Walter Walker taking on Lucas Brzeski. I always like this. It's like going on to Sherdog and seeing Lucas Brzeski like this, and then you see him here. Like, what the hell's going on? I think he was at a lighter weight class, but he's coming off of 3 losses. He's just not been good. He has not been good. And then the no contest before then on Dana White's Contender Series, just not been good at all. And his opponent is a very good grappler, a big dude too, 6'6". I, man, I mean, I understand why everyone's fading Lucas Brzeski. Um, the grappling isn't tremendous from Brzeski. I gotta go with Walter Walker to get it done. I think it'll probably just be a decision. Like he'll just wrestle him to a decision. I like on his record, he's got a bunch of KO wins. Those are probably ground and pound victories. He likes to grapple, likes to get his opponents to the mat and rain down shots. So I just kind of like Lucas Brzeski to maybe I don't know. I don't know how the cardio picture is gonna work out. If he's forcing Gretzky to wrestle, like, does Gretzky gas out? Does Walter gas himself out from trying to grapple? I think it'll be interesting, but I think it'll probably be the decision, like a sloppy decision by Walter Walker, just wrestling Gretzky for 15 minutes. The next fight we've got is Court McGee taking on Alex Morono. Court McGee's coming off of 2 knockout losses. Alex Morono might be coming off of a finish loss. I think he fought Buckley. Oh, it was a unanimous decision loss. Okay. Yeah, and I mean Morono's a much younger fighter here. Uh he's probably the better overall fighter. Court McGee used to be cardio, wrestling, durability, had some power on the feet, and just after 2 back-to-back knockout losses, getting up there in age, I understand why Morono's the favorite. That's who I'm gonna go with in this fight at -298. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Court McGee turns back the clock, but I don't think so. I don't know if Morono's gonna knock him out. Vegas kinda likes the knockout. The double method of victory for Morono's at -190. Has Court McGee lost? I mean, we could see a club and sub, but does he have any submission losses? I'm guessing. He's got 12. 0 submission losses. So we might tickle down that, -270, what was that? -298 line with the KO decision. Bet for Morono at -190, potentially as a parlay piece, but, yeah, basically just fading McGee, going with the younger, I think, better fighter here. This will be a great fight, Trevor Peek taking on Charlie Campbell, and, like, look, Trevor Peek is not very refined, technical, um, yeah, we kinda know what he brings to the table. He'll hit you with a one of these. You need oh, yeah, you can still see me on the stream. One of these, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, he's just insane, but he's so durable, and then the power is insane. All of his wins are knockouts, right? Um, he's he just grinds. He's a dog. Charlie Campbell's gonna hurt in round 1. That's just kinda what happens to Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek, if he's swinging hard, he can kinda fluster opponents and put him back, but I don't think that's gonna happen in round 1 with Charlie Campbell. I think everyone watches, um, Trevor Peek, and they understand, like, he's gonna be there for 15 minutes, and he's gonna be trying to take off their head, but, like, I mean, if Charlie Campbell can't get him out of there in round 1, I think he's probably gonna get knocked out. Got knocked out by Chris Duncan after hurting Chris Duncan, uh and yeah, like, fighters can't help themselves if they put someone on skates, they are just going to push forward, and I think I for sure like, you know, a knockout method of victory, that's at -3,000. Let's see the winning methods. Oh, peak knockout plus 215. Is there a way I mean, if it's not a knockout, you're screwing yourself, but that's a way you could, I think, hedge. You could also hedge with just doing like Charlie Campbell early, Trevor Peek. That's an idea. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with the Trevor Peek KO. I think he's just so durable. Even if Charlie Campbell gets him hurt in round 1 and it'll be sketchy, he'll get through it. Charlie Campbell will start to gas, and then Trevor Peek's gonna be trying to take off the Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Christos Giagos. Christos Giagos, very good offensive wrestler. Ignacio Bahamondes, very talented fighter, but he screwed me against Ludovic Klein his last time out. Uh, I think this is gonna come down to what Christos Giagos' gas tank looks like. He's a very, very talented offensive wrestler. He just gasses out quickly, no gas tank. And then if that's the case, I do think Ignacio Bahamondes is the more well-rounded fighter, is to carry the better cardio. Um, yeah, I like Ignacio in this spot. -325. I don't know if I love that. Um, so I'm maybe looking to get Ignacio over around Ignacio because he's gonna lose that first round, I think. Um, so like Ignacio and over a round. I don't maybe Ignacio and over a round and a half. Um, yeah, but I do think Christos is gonna potentially get the takedown early, but not for 15 minutes, and it's gonna be dangerous for him standing across from, Bahamondes. We've got Morgan Sharir taking on Chepe Mariscal. Um, Morgan Sharir, I think both these guys Oh, so Morgan Schreier has fought in the UFC. Huge experience for his age. 28-year-old, 28 fights. And then we've got Jose, who's also fought in the UFC. Oh yeah, he was in the Jack Jenkins fight. So kind of interesting first two fights. Trevor Peek and then Jack Jenkins. Um, yeah, I think I was really impressed with what I saw out of Morgan. Um, Chepe is going to be very, very durable, and I think be there for all 15 minutes. But I think Morgan is able to keep this fight standing. If it does go to the mat, he is pretty well rounded, and I think he's just going to have a little bit of a technical advantage in the stand up department. So I'm going to go with Morgan Sharir to get it done at minus 122. I like the decision because I do, Chepe's going to be there for 15 minutes. Odds makers do too. That's kind of the spot I like. Next fight we've got is Alex Hernandez taking on Damon Jackson, and this is like you know, Alex Hernandez is gonna look amazing the first 5 minutes of this fight, the first round. Um, and he does have the power to hurt Damon Jackson. So if Damon Jackson's able to survive round one, maybe there's a live bet opportunity to go after Damon Jackson a little bit. But I do like Alex Hernandez in this. Damon Jackson is extremely hittable. Hernandez is fast and powerful. And I think he catches Jackson, hurts him early, and gets the KO. And he's the minus 205 favorite. Odds makers also like the knockout, and they also like the first round knockout at plus 275. And then we've got the main event. We've got Brendan Allen taking on Chris Curtis for the second time. Brendan Allen got knocked out by Chris Curtis. He got knocked out by Sean Strickland. And then he just has beaten everyone else. And I am a huge fan of Brendan Allen. Chris Curtis, really, really good boxer, really tough fighter. Um, coming off of I think the eye poke result, right? His last fight. Oh, no, that was 2 fights ago, and it was a clash of heads. Um, got a split decision against Marc-Andre. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like, watch that first fight and think Brendan Allen's gonna have any answers, but I just do not, like, love the approach out of Chris Curtis every single fight. I think the path to victory for Brendan Allen is going to be, going for a submission. It's really what I think, and it's gonna be implementing takedowns. Um, I think this is for sure gonna be a finish. Just the way Brendan Allen fights. He's on the gas. He's always in exciting fights. Let's see. I don't know the last time he went to a decision, to be honest. Um, in 2022, but I mean, he's always, always in entertaining fights. So I think I'm gonna say Brandon Allen cracks the Chris Curtis code and gets the submission. Um, probably in like round two, but I mean, I for sure like something inside the distance. So odds makers have that at for a 5 round fight. They have that at minus 200. I like something inside the distance just based on how these two fighters fight. You got Chris Curtis, who's always on the front foot, Brendan Allen, who's always on the front foot, and it'll just be interesting. But I think Brendan Allen passes the test. So I put my Twitter handle in the chat there. I'm going to go ahead and sign off tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. My name is Bill. This is KO Bet. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support.